I've been low, lower than the floor. That negativity you force on top of me. Only I can set me free. I wanna be the best that I can be. You gotta go, you gotta go.
All right, welcome in. It is Sunday morning around 8 o'clock in the morning. I have some football here. 9:30 in the morning, the Seahawks and the Buccaneers play. I think they're in Munich, Germany, so that's pretty cool. Excuse me, first time they're going to Germany there. So we're going to talk about the Dallas Cowboys. Cincinnati Bengals are on a bye week right now. Me and my brother are playing in fantasy for the number one spot in the league. I'm kind of tied in first in my division. He's in first place in his division. So it's going to be a tough one. Down to the nitty-gritty. I think we only got a couple more games left to determine who the champion is, and then we start the playoffs. All right, so let's dive right into some Dallas Cowboys information. 4 bold predictions. Green Bay Packers, Dallas Cowboys, Week 10 NFC matchup. Dallas Cowboys offense come to life with Dak Prescott, his second coming back with the broken thumb. Chicago Bears did not make it interesting when they brought the game within 5 points. But once again, Cowboys defense, Micah Parsons, comes in the clutch and goes beast mode. Cowboys head coach, head to Green Bay, Mike McCarthy used to be the Green Bay Packers coach with Aaron Rodgers. Emotions will be high on both sides. Dallas players look to pick up a win for their head coach. To do that, they'll have to beat McCarthy's old quarterback and his revamped Packers offense. But the Green Bay Packers offense does not look that great, losing to the Detroit Lions last week. I wish I had some stats for you, but I think he had, 3 interceptions, 3 INTs last week, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers did not look that great at all. So the Cowboys want to win the game, obviously. Running backs Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon have been doing pretty well. We know that Dallas can do this on defense. Let's focus on how the Cowboys offense can take them out of the game. Dak Prescott is going to be looking forward to playing against Rodgers, but he'll need to play smart football and not force anything. We're going to talk about Ezekiel Elliott here in a second. Tony Pollard looks to be stacking up his stats so far this year. An aggressive secondary of the Packers is willing to get down and take out Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard in the running game. Packers right now are giving up 4.8 yards per carry against the running backs this season. Prescott, the Packers safeties, have been giving up an average of 8.6 yards per catch to the opposing tight ends and 52 yards per game. So that bodes well for Prescott, who has no problem targeting his tight ends. This gives him something to lean on with quarterbacks Rasul Douglas and Jair Alexander on the outside. So Jair Alexander should be guarding CeeDee Lamb in this matchup, and I kind of want to see CeeDee's outcoming with a good corner that's going to be guarding him, see how he does on that. So the game prediction here, Prescott goes 24 of 30 for 275 yards and 3 touchdowns, which would be really nice. But more to come with Ezekiel Elliott. Says he's going to have 85 yards rushing a touchdown, and then Pollard's going to have 75 yards and a receiving touchdown. That would be nice. I would take that all day, every day. McCarthy's emotional return ends better for him than Rodgers. Like I said, Green Bay has not been doing very well at all. But it's going to be in Lambeau. It's probably going to be a little cold. It's cold here in Dayton, Ohio. So the one thing that will help Dallas and McCarthy's matchup return is his knowledge of the team, mainly Rodgers. So that inside information will help him prepare for this game. His tips on how Rodgers thinks and reads defenses will help defense coordinator Dan Quinn put his defense in the best positions to attack that quarterback. I'm predicting at least 5 sacks in this matchup for the Dallas Cowboys, just throwing it out there. Terrell Basham and Chauncey Golston show their value. So everyone's expected for the Cowboys to make a move at the NFL trade deadline, and they did, trading Jonathan Hankins. The other move they made was releasing defensive tackle Tristan Hill after trying to trade him. While the move isn't going to be seen as a big one, it does give the Cowboys the ability to move their defensive ends inside on passing downs to create pressure in the middle. So Cowboys sack leaders through week 8. Let's check this out. Micah Parsons, number 1. He has 8 sacks on the year. Dorrance Armstrong has 5. DeMarcus Lawrence has 4. Dante Fowler has 4. Donovan Wilson with 3. Osa Odigizua with 2. Vander Esch got 1. Let's see. Chauncey Golston, Jaron Curse, they all have 1. So there's your Cowboys sack leaders. Micah Parsons at number 1 with 8. Dan Quinn's play calling has been all about creating matchups with the defensive line, and with Hill now gone, the Cowboys are able to add another defensive end on the game day roster. So looking for DeMarcus Lawrence and Chauncey Golston more inside to collapse the pocket on Rodgers and Basham to fill the left defensive end spot while they're vacating. So understand the assignment. Cowboys defensive line maintained their assignments. Time of possession, 36 minutes 43 to the Cowboys 23-17. This time around, with the Cowboys coming off a bye week, they've had time to adjust their strategy defending the run, or more their technique defending it. So against the Bears, we saw poor gap containment for the Cowboys defensive tackles and poor containment for the defensive ends. So this week they're facing more towards quarterback play that is willing to run if he needs to, but is mainly looking to push the football down the field. So Packers running back Aaron Jones should practice this week after tests on injured ankle come back clean. So looking forward to a dual back set in the backfield to help Aaron Rodgers out. So there is that information with the fan cited, by the way. Cowboys news, Saturday transactions, but Ezekiel Elliott's status is in question. This is what I was trying to talk about. This just happened this morning. It posted at 6 a.m. Central Time. So this just happened. We were talking about the running back set for the Dallas Cowboys with Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard in the backfield, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Dallas Cowboys has called up running back Kadri Ollison from the practice squad on Saturday. So that could mean Ezekiel Elliott sits out of this week's game against the Green Bay Packers. Yes, up to date, if you have Ezekiel Elliott, sit him, don't start him, because Kadri Ollison is up from the practice squad to be part of the running back with Tony Pollard. It's going to be a dual running back set, but Ezekiel Elliott is not going to be in the game today. Dallas is coming off a bye week, but the game before did not feature Elliott at all. So Dallas has been extremely conservative with Zeke's usage so far this year. I would get rid of him. I've been saying that for so long. Get rid of him, get some cap space, and, get some money in the bank, get some people that we want on the offense, defense. I just don't understand why they're not getting rid of Zeke, because he doesn't really do much of anything. Jerry Jones likens pursuit of Odell Beckham to Deion Sanders. That's all Tim Daniels on the Bleacher Report. But it's kind of anxious to see the Dallas Cowboys and Odell Beckham seem to be a perfect fit right now. The receiver is in need of a team, and the team is in need of a wide receiver. So the team owner has talked up the possibility of adding the veteran wide receiver, Odell Beckham Jr. Kind of anxious to see here. QB Dak Prescott said, quote, "Anytime you have a chance to add a talent like that, and knowing Odell and knowing his resume, it's exciting, but also understand it's a business. And I'm sure there's 31 other teams that would like to add him as well," end quote. Ezekiel said, "We want him. We want OBJ." CD Lamb said, "That's my boy. I'm a fan of Odell. Why wouldn't you want to add more firepower to the offense?" Micah Parsons, "Shit, we can use him. I think he's a great player. He'll expand this offense. He's a guy you want on the team beside all the other critics stuff that people make up and shit about him. He can add real value to the team and help us do what we want to do," end quote, with Micah Parsons. And then Jerry Jones, the owner. "Odell is someone that we have all the appreciation in the world for. What is he as? What he is as a competitor. I know the Cowboys star on that helmet, when he puts it on, could look pretty good." Sign him, Jerry. Sign his ass. We're going to get his ass, yeah. We're going to get them dubs. All right, now we're talking a little bit about betting prop bets. Just a little bit here. I got some right here, just really quick. Spreads 3.5 goes to Dallas. Money lines -190 Dallas. Over-under is 44.5. That's minus 110. Less than 44.5. Plus, greater than 44.5 is 110 as well. Cowboys are a 5-point road favorite against the Green Bay Packers, minus 225 on the money line. So this is all different. I don't understand. Over-under is 43. The Cowboys being this big of a favorite on the road makes sense because the Packers have really struggled recently. Cowboys are also playing like one of the best teams in the NFL. What is their power rankings? Number 4? I think Dallas Cowboys are number 4 in the power rankings. Cowboys at 5. So they're definitely going to pick them. Betting trends. Cowboys are 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 road games. Packers are 4-1 against the spread in the last 5 games of Week 10. Dallas Cowboys injuries: Ezekiel Elliott with a knee, and then Malik Hooker with an hamstring. Green Bay Packer injuries: Aaron Jones and Devondre Campbell, but we found out Aaron Jones might be playing. Dak Prescott versus the Packers secondary. Jair Alexander, like I said, here's some stats. He only has played in 3 games with the Cowboys this year so far because of the thumb, but has gone 2-1 in those. He has 591 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and has a 67% completion percentage. He might be asked to do more with Ezekiel on the bench. Packers give up 182 yards per game, so we'll see what Dak can do. Aaron Rodgers versus the Cowboys secondary. Aaron Rodgers, he has 2,091 yards passing, 14 touchdowns, 7 INTs, 65% completion percentage so far this year. That's not your typical stats for your Aaron Rodgers. The Cowboys allow 205 yards a game. That's a little bit more than Green Bay does. Rodgers could get some yards here, but it will be difficult. Remember, we have Terrence, that one dude, Diggs, beast mode on the outside. So you got Prescott starting. Tony Pollard might be RB1. Lamb and Gallup and Brown, it looks like he'd be on a slot. Schultze, the tight end, is going to be starting in the depth chart today. Green Bay Packers: Rodgers, Jones, Dillon, dual running back set, RB1, RB2 for the Green Bay Packers. Lazard, wide receiver 1, and Christian Watson. Look out for Lazard, but I think Diggs is going to lock him down. Amari Rodgers in the slot. Mercedes Lewis, the tight end. So watch out for Mercedes Lewis to have a big game at a tight end spot. Hopefully them linebackers, Van Der Esch, will be there to guard him. It's going to be tough on the inside. You got some prop bets here. Let's see. The Dak Prescott completions, 20.5, over-under at minus 140. 233.5 passing yards for Dak Prescott. The over is minus 115. Aaron Rodgers, 22.5 for completions. Over-under is minus 120. Over is 120, under is 110. 232.5 passing yards for Aaron Rodgers. Over is minus 105, and under is minus 125. I don't think Ezekiel Elliott will be playing. So it has attempts off and receiving yards off. So I don't know what that means. Maybe it means that he's not even going to be playing. I'm surprised Tony Pollard's not on here. We won't go through all these. But I'm going to get some stats and facts for you here in a second. Man, I went way far than I thought I was going to go. So the Dallas Cowboys, some game stats. I want to really cut this down here. Green Bay has won 5 of its last 7 matchups with Dallas. Among active quarterbacks with at least 5 starts against Dallas, only Tom Brady, 7-0, Russell Wilson, 5-1, have a better record against Cowboys than Rodgers with 5-2. Cowboys have rushed for 200 yards and 4 touchdowns in a Week 8 win over the Bears. It was the first time Dallas rushed for 200 yards since Week 1 in 1995. In the win over Chicago, Dak Prescott became the first Cowboys quarterback in the last 30 seasons to have a pass and rush of at least 25 yards in the same game. Packers have lost 5 straight games, averaging 15.8 points per game during the losing streak. It is the first time the Packers have lost 5 games in a row while averaging fewer than 16 points per game since Week 13 through 17 of the 1990 season. Stats and facts, baby, it's all about. Stats and facts time. Aaron Rodgers. Passer rating is only 89 this season after posting a 111.9 rating in 2021. The decrease of 22.9 is the largest by a Packers quarterback. Minimum 5 games played since Bart Starr from 1966 to 1967 when he went 105 to 64. Tony Pollard rushed for 131 yards against the Bears, getting 9.4 yards per carry. It was his second career game with a rushing average above 9 on 10 or more carries. Only Tony Dorsett had 4, has more such games in Cowboys history. So, there is your information. Dallas, 4.5, over under 44. Give me Dallas all day, every day, in Lambeau Field. 4:25 is the start of that game. I think it's on Fox. So, check that game out. Now, we're going to talk about the picks. The NFL picks, I'm going to do Vikings, Bills, Cardinals, Rams, Chargers, 49ers. Real quick, Vikings versus Bills. I believe it's going to be in Buffalo. Yes, it is. So this game is at 1 o'clock. Buffalo's favored 6.5, over under 44.5. Give me Buffalo if Josh Allen plays. Looks like he will. I have him on fantasy. Start him if you got him. Game facts. The Vikings have played 8 games at Highmark Stadium and have held the Bills to 23 points or fewer in each one. That is the longest streak of allowing 23 points or fewer by a visiting team in the stadium's history. Minnesota has won 6 straight games, all by 8 points or fewer. You like that? You like that? That is tied for the second longest streak of 1 possession wins in NFL history, behind a 7-game streak by the Chiefs in 2020. TJ Hawkinson had 9 catches in his Vikings debut last week, tying the Bills' Keith McKellar, October 18th, 1987, for the most receptions by a tight end in his debut with the team in the Super Bowl era. Stats and facts, baby. Bills have allowed 21 points or fewer in 12 straight regular season games, the longest streak in franchise history, and the second longest by any NFL team over the last 15 games. Ravens, 13 straight from 2019 to 2020. Buffalo is allowing 4.6 points per game in the second half this year. No NFL team has allowed less than 5 points per game in the second half. Buffalo, Josh Allen has started 63 consecutive games at quarterback, the second longest streak in Bills history, behind Joe Ferguson, 107, back in 1977 to 1984. It is the third longest active streak among QBs, behind Tom Brady at 102 and Derek Carr at 84. Stats and facts. Give me Buffalo all day long at home. Josh Allen. We don't play no games. All right. Cardinals versus Rams. Cardinals versus Rams. 4:25. Playing the same time the Dallas Cowboys are playing. Let's take a look at some stats and facts. LA is 10-1 against the Cardinals since 2017, including a win in Arizona in Week 3 this year. The lone loss came at SoFi Stadium last season. The only team with more wins against a single opponent since 2017 is the Patriots, who are 11-0 against the Jets. The Cardinals fell to the Seahawks 31-21 at home last week. Since 2019, they're now 2-9 in divisional games at home, tied with Atlanta for the worst mark in the league, but 5-5 in such games on the road. Kyle Murray has thrown multiple touchdown passes and completions at least 70% of his attempts in each of his last 2 games. The Cardinals have lost both. Prior to Week 8, they had won 6 straight games when Murray hit those marks. The Rams lost to the Buccaneers 16-13 in Tampa Bay last week. It was just the 3rd time since Sean McVay took over in 2017 that the Rams allowed 16 or fewer points and lost. Also a 15-6 loss in Chicago in Week 14, 2018, and a 16-10 loss against the Seattle Seahawks in Week 5 in 2017. Last week was Cooper Kupp's 20th career game with at least 100 receiving yards and a touchdown, the most in NFL since he entered the league in 2017. The only other player with more than 15 such games in that span is Devontae Adams with 19, Tyreek Hill with 18. The Rams have gone 3 and out 29.4% of their offensive drives this season, the second highest mark in the league, behind Pittsburgh at 31.8. Last season, they did not just 13.3% of their drives, the second lowest mark in the league, behind Kansas City. So, give me Cardinals. I got the the Rams. I got the Rams. The Rams are favored 2.5, over under 39.5. Give me Rams all day. Give me over. Oh, I forgot the Bills. So give me over on the Bills. Over, win, Bills. Rams, win, over. Chargers, 49ers. That's going to be the Sunday night game. Waiting all day for Sunday night. 8:20 kickoff. Waiting all day for Sunday night. I don't know why it's not loading for me. Trying to get some stats and facts for you guys, but for some reason it ain't working. So it is a key matchup here. Chargers, Justin Herbert versus Jimmy Garoppolo. The Chargers looking to win their 6th straight game against the 49ers, which would make them the first team to do so since the Seahawks, 9 games from 2014 to 2018. Justin Herbert was not sacked in the Chargers' most recent win over Atlanta. LA has allowed the fewest sacks in the league this season with only 10. Nice to be Justin Herbert, keeping them clean. The Chargers have not allowed 10 or fewer sacks through 8 games since 2008. Through 40 career stats, Justin Herbert has announced for 90 touchdowns, 82 passing, 8 rushing. Only Patrick Mahomes with 107, Dan Marino with 95, and Kurt Warner with 91 accounted for more scores in their first 40 starts. San Francisco's last 5 games have all been decided by at least 14 points, 3-2 record. The 49ers have not had 6 consecutive such games since an 8-game streak in 1999. Christian McCaffrey threw for, rushed for, and caught a touchdown in San Francisco's win over the Rams. He was the first player to do so since the Chargers' LaDainian Tomlinson completed the feat in Week 6 of 2005. Austin Eckler both rushed for and caught a touchdown in the Chargers' win over Atlanta. His 10 career games with both a rushing and receiving touchdown are the most in Chargers history, with the next closest player being LaDainian Tomlinson with 7. LD was one of the beast modes back in LA and Chargers, San Diego back then. But Herbert, 2,254 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 5 INTs versus Jimmy Garoppolo, Jimmy G, 1,691 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. The both good TD interception ratio. Look for Jimmy G to do pretty well. Deebo Samuel's going to go off in this game. Give me 49ers all day, every day. They're favored by 7.5. Over-unders 45. San Francisco 49ers in the Bay. And there you have it. Love you guys. God bless. Tip your waitress.